Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to do the 4 basic steps in longboard dancing. Not only how to land them, but also how to start flowing with them and have fun. Because at the end of the day, that's our goal. So in this video, we're gonna see this step, this step, this step, and this one. For each and every step, we're gonna talk about how to land them, which is the first 10% of learning a step, and then we're going to talk about how to carve the step and also how to feel comfortable taking some speed. Before we get into the core of the video, I'm gonna tell you some very specific rules that apply to everything in longboard dancing. The first rule being putting your weight forward. You just need to make sure that the leg that's in front is a little bit more bent than the leg that's on the back. If you want to know why, it's really simple. Falling forward is pretty fine, you can save yourself. But falling backwards, that hurts. The second rule is to bend your knees. The lower the center of gravity, the easier everything becomes. So let's move on to the first step, the 180 step. The 180 step is the easiest step you can do on a longboard. There is actually 2 180 steps, the 180 step and the switch 180 step. So to land the 180 step, turn your board around, your front foot goes to the middle like this, then you turn your shoulders and step with the back foot in front and back to the cruising position. Now we're skating in switch and we're just gonna repeat the exact same process. Front foot goes to the middle, turn your shoulders and step with the back foot in front. And now we're back into our cruising stance. Every time you step with your front foot either on the middle of the board or the moment that the back foot goes in the front, you have to shift your weight to the front to avoid falling backwards like we said previously. So now you just landed the 180 step, but it doesn't feel right yet. And the reason why is really simple. It's because you do not have enough speed yet and you do not carve the step. And to carve the step, the foot placement changes just a little bit. Instead of stepping with the front foot here, you're gonna step with the front foot a bit on the side with the inside of your foot close to the edge of the board. That's gonna make the turn actually a bit shorter and easier if you lean into the carve. You need to start with the opposite carve to get into that motion, and then once you feel comfortable doing those 180 steps with a bit more speed and a bit of carve, you can start shaping it the way you want. Once you have the proper technique, you can actually make it your own, if that makes sense. So now we're gonna move on to the second step, which is my personal favorite of this video, the cross step. So for the cross step, really easy. 4 steps. The front foot goes as close as you can to the back foot to try to save as much space as you can. Then you cross with the back foot and decross with the front foot. I'm gonna repeat that throughout the whole video, but my weight is always forward. Okay, so that's the basic cross step. That's it. And now we're gonna see how to carve the cross step. So to carve the cross step, again, the foot placement changes just a little bit. When you bring your front foot to the back of the board, for the first step, you're gonna bring it a bit to the side so that you can start carving on the heel side, and you're gonna stay on that carve for the next step when you cross, and the last step brings you back to the toe side carve. If you want an easy way to remember where to carve with your cross step, it's really simple. You have 4 steps, 2 steps on each side. There are a lot of different cross steps, and I think overall it's one of my favorite steps ever with the pirouette, but I already did a tutorial on this one. Go check the pirouette tutorial after this one. I think that's it for the cross step, and we can move on to the third step, the 360 step. The 360 step is actually the 180 step, but on the same side. The first step of the 360 step is the 180 step. But then instead of doing a switch 180 step, you're gonna do a backward 180 step. Something really important is that when you start skating backwards, the rule that we mentioned a couple of times during this video, which is putting the weight forward, still applies here, but because we're skating backwards, you're gonna have to lean backwards. That's gonna allow you to do the second 180 step to complete the 360 step. For this one, it's a bit specific. You can carve it the exact same way we talked about for the 180 step, but it's really hard to carve it. So what I would recommend to do is just try to do it fast and slow so that you can get ready for the pirouette, because this one is the main step that's gonna get you set up for the pirouette. I said pirouette way too many times, I think. We're gonna move on to the last step of the video, the pirouette. This is the step. Because we're gonna be in that crossed weird position in the middle of the board, It's nice to get ready with the Peter Pan push. Wait, push Peter Pan? I think that's the name. The goal of the exercise is to push between every single Peter Pan. Every time you try it, you try to put a bit less weight on the ground so that you get used to that thing of carving side to side. You cannot really not carve that step because of the foot placement. Now that you feel comfortable with the pushed Peter Pan, you're gonna try to, well, not push. We're gonna talk about how to make infinite Peter Pans. To do infinite Peter Pans, the secret is to go toe to heel. You can place your toes at the same level as the other foot, and that's how you do infinite Peter Pans. There is plenty more to say about each and every one of those steps, but I want to keep this video pretty short. If you have any questions, feel free to send a DM on Instagram or leave a comment on this video. I'm gonna answer all the questions that you have. That's the perks of not having any followers. Follow please and share the video to some friends. That's it for this video. Have fun on your longboards.